We're in between games 1 and 2 of the Stanley Cup Final here in Edmonton. The Oilers with a 1-0 series lead. Dennis Bernstein, Dave Pagnotta. Our coverage of the 2025 Stanley Cup Final is brought to you by Carlsberg, probably the best beer in the world. Dennis, 1-0 series lead for the Oilers, but the Panthers, led by Matthew Tkachuk, spoke to the media a little while ago and said, hey, it's one game. We know what to do to get back in this.
Do you think the Panthers lack confidence, Dave? Come on, it's one game. They were down 0-2 to the Maple Leafs. They found a way to win that series, but this is a very different Edmonton Oilers team. But the Panthers had to play better. They had to finish games. They had a 3-1 lead in the second period and couldn't get it done because the resiliency of the Oilers, and it's their 7th comeback win in Game 1, they had to change their game a little bit to get to a split here in Edmonton.
Chris Knobloch, the Oilers head coach, talked about the luxury of putting Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid together, but it may not necessarily be how they exploit things in the early going of Game 2. He liked having Leon as a second-line center so that they can kind of spread things out and allow him to play a little bit more stronger defensively as well. It shifts a little bit when he's on Connor's line. But they have that nuclear weapon at their disposal when they need it. Yeah,
they needed it in Game 1. They went to it, wound up getting an overtime victory. But again, Mattias Ekholm, his scoring that goal, the tying goal in Game 1, it's the 20th Oiler to score in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It shows what quality depth this team has that they haven't had before.
This club, the goaltending has been solid for the most part from both sides. But what the Panthers ended up doing towards the later part of the game, especially in that third period, and almost right out of the gate of that third period, was shift their structure and system to a 1-1-3 setup, which helped shut down the Oilers for the first bit. Yeah. But then as the period progressed, the Oilers utilized their speed and offense. From Florida's perspective, it sounds like they're going to need to be, and based on what the players were talking about, a lot more aggressive on the forecheck right out of the gate as soon as the puck drops in Game 2.
And late in the game, they went to a 1-1-3, worked for 6 minutes. The unfortunate part of that is the period's 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And they came coming at you in waves, the Oilers. They wound up surrendering the tying goal. And I just think there has to be more aggressiveness in the third period if they are playing with a lead.
The Oilers basically just need to keep doing what they were doing in Game 1 to keep things going, to bring a 2-0 lead into South Florida later on in the week. I think from Florida's perspective, if we can get home 1-1 and get things going for Games 3 and 4 in their own barn, they'd be comfortable with that. A.J. Greer did skate today. It was an optional, and along with the Black Aces, but A.J. Greer was on the ice. We'll see if he's healthy enough to get back into the lineup for Game 2. And we'll come back at you ahead of Game 2 tomorrow on Friday here inside Rogers Place. That's Dennis Bernstein. I'm Dave Pagnotta. This is our coverage of the Stanley Cup Final brought to you by Carlsberg.